All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank everyone for coming down here in the weather. Appreciate everyone being here today. Before we get started, Coach Stock has some opening comments about his 14th class here at Middle Tennessee, and then we'll open it up to any questions you might have, and there will be a microphone, so please raise your hand. All right, at this time, I'd like to bring up head coach Rick Stockstill.
Thank you, AC. Appreciate it. Thanks for everybody being here. Again, this is a really good day for us. When you go through a recruiting class like this, there's a lot of people involved in it, and I just want to start out by thanking our staff, our coaching staff, our coaches' families, the sacrifices that they made throughout this recruiting process, our support staff, all our GAs, everybody. Jan Worley did a great job with the travel, everything we do. Madison Albertson, her help, Jess Stinger, just everybody contributed to this recruiting class. And then our compliance office with Daryl Simpson and all those people in there. Elizabeth White, Donna Victory. This thing's wobbling on me. Donna Victory did a great job there, and Lynn Morgan, everything she's done, with the evaluation of transcripts and everything. Just really thankful and appreciative of everybody involved. And I know I'm probably leaving some people out, but if you had a hand in this recruiting process, I really appreciate it. But again, I thought it was a really good class. We signed 23 guys. We've got one left that we'll look to sign. But as you go through it, and I'm going to go through it briefly, I'm not going to talk in great detail about each player, but we signed Randall Johnson, the quarterback, a junior college guy, and he's a bigger guy. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player for us. When you look at our quarterback depth chart, with Brent leaving, you've got Chase Cunningham and Asher O'Hara, who Asher played in one game and Chase played in a few games in a cleanup role, and then Chance Nolan we redshirted and didn't play. So I felt it was important that we get a quarterback with just a little bit more experience. So those four guys, will compete, this spring and this summer, and into camp. So, but I really like Randall. I think he's got the potential to be a really good player. We signed one running back, Jay McDonald, who's a junior college guy as well from Laney Junior College. Jeff Murphy, who was a quarterback here several years ago, attended the same junior college. But Jay is I've been really impressed. He's here now. I've been really impressed with his work ethic, his personality, everything about him. He's a really, really elusive. He's got great speed. So I think he'll, bring an added dimension to our backfield there. So excited about him. We signed 3 receivers, and I'm really excited about this class. DJ Chisholm out of South Carolina. Probably the fastest receiver we've ever recruited. He's special. We got on him at Christmas break. Mal Lawyer, one of his coaches, I coached at Clemson. Mal was a great player for us there, and Mal called me and sent some film, so we got on him, and really I think he can be special. He's got 10.4 speed, track guy there in the state of South Carolina, so he can be special. Jaron Pierce, a junior college guy also, that I think is going to help us, as well. Probably he's not as fast as DJ. He's a bigger body, and so excited about what Jaron's going to be able to do for us. And then Marquell Tinsley, from up the road here in Kentucky. I think those guys, Marquell is a strong body. He was in camp We had him in camp and did a really nice job there for us. So really excited about the 3 receivers that we signed, and I think they're going to, have a big impact on our team next year. I hope so anyway. And then in the offensive line, we signed 4 guys, Stephen Lasoya, Adam Derry, and then Dorian Hinton. Those 3 guys signed in December. And then we signed Big Rob Jones out of a junior college, Highlands Junior College here in obviously this today's signing period, the January period. So, but I think those guys, they bring athleticism, they bring toughness. I think all of them, especially, Big Rob can play, multiple positions up front. And, the Stephen Lasoy is just, they've just got a nasty, tough attitude about them. Stephen, I think, from right here in Nashville at Overton is a really good player. And then Adam out of Kentucky, and Dorian down there in Florida. So these guys are going to be really good players for us. And, so those are the guys we signed offensively. We met all our needs offensively. So we'll use that last scholarship defensively. So, but as you look at what we signed, in the defensive line, and I'm going to classify those guys all in the defensive line because some of them may be a defensive end, some of them may be an inside guy, a tackle. All of them are really athletic and can play multiple positions in there. So, but again, Richard Kinley, is I think has great growth potential. He's athletic. I think he can play in space as well in the line of scrimmage. His dad played here in the late 80s, but just a really good player. Then Quindarius Dunnigan from Chattanooga, again, is another guy that I think has the size potential to play multiple positions. He's a really good pass rusher, has great hands, and is athletic. J.R. Bivens, out of Atlanta, is, to me, they won the state championship. And you look at our guys, a lot of these guys won state championships this year. And, so they're coming from good programs. And but J.R. is not going to wow you with his size, but his effort and toughness and tenacity, what he plays with, is what attracted us to him, and is a really good player. Then Juju Williams, we signed him in December out of South Carolina. Really, really excited about him. Tremendous work ethic. Excited about ball, loves ball, and he can run. And again, I think he's to be as young as he is, he's really, really strong, and has got a chance to, again, all these guys are going to be good players for us. And then Marley Cook is a man out of Water Valley High School there in Mississippi. They won the state championship, and just a really incredibly strong young man. Again, loves ball, a big weight lifter, competing at the high school level. Has got a chance to win the state championship there in weightlifting, but is a really good player. Really excited about Marley. And then Zaylen Wood out of Georgia, also there. And you look at him, he won the state shot put as a junior. He won the state weightlifting championship as a junior. He won the state football championship as a senior. So he's got 3 state championships now, and he's competing. Got a chance to win the state again in weightlifting and the state again in shots. So, he's got a chance to put, 5, 6 different state championship rings on. So he's a really good player, good person, and excited about him. So those are the 6 defensive linemen that we signed, in defensive ends, defensive linemen that we signed there. Then we wanted to sign 4 linebackers, and we signed 3. All 3 of these guys, or 2 of the 3 signed in December. Raekwon Hartley and Ronan Wright. Those guys signed in December. And, again, they're outside guys. They can run, very athletic, fit our defensive scheme really well. And then Andrew Leak, we signed him. He's a teammate of Zaylen. We signed him here, obviously, in this February signing period. So Andrew's a lot physically, kind of looks a little bit like Khalil, size-wise. He's that height, that athleticism. He's heavier than Khalil. He's 210 now, and Khalil's probably at 205. So I think Andrew's got a great upside to him. Very a physical, tough, hard-nosed player. So really excited about those linebackers. And like I said, we've got one left there, and our plan is to try to sign use that last one on a linebacker unless somebody just comes out of nowhere. But we'll look at the transfer portal, all that kind of stuff, grad transfers as we move forward from there. So, and then we signed 5 defensive backs, and that's what we wanted to sign. We signed 4 of them in December. Jalen Jackson, and it's funny, 4 of the 5, they're from Florida, so, those guys, all of them can run. But Jalen Jackson and Mark LaFrance. Another thing about these guys, I think they all can play, multiple positions back there. Might be a safety, could play a corner, can be a corner, could play a safety. So it's a very athletic group. Quincy Riley, we talked about him in December, just how fast he is. He was a track guy in South Carolina. Really excited about him. I think he plays basketball. Had a great game last night on his senior night. So these guys are athletic. Darius McClendon, those guys are really good players, and can't wait to get them here. But those 4 guys signed in December, and then Marve Myers Glover out of Orlando signed him, and he's probably more of a safety, but could possibly play corner. He's a bigger guy, more physical, but can run, has great ball skills. And I think this whole group has really good ball skills. So I think it's a really good group, at every position. We're really excited about it. And, I think these guys, have all got a chance. If they'll continue to work and continue to do the things they've done to get here, they've got a chance to have special careers. So really excited about these guys, and, didn't want to bore you going through every one of them, but I thought these guys deserved it, and a little bit of a shout out to them because of how good of players they are and, what they've done. So I'll open it up to you guys' questions with that. You don't need that mic. I mean, I can hear you. Unless you want them to hear you, I guess.
Coach, you kind of mentioned a lot of these guys.
I thought you got the mic for you.
I turned it on, and look.
There it works.
It has a red light on it. I don't know. You mentioned about a lot of these guys, they can play different positions. Why was that such an emphasis with this year's class?
Well, it's not just this class. It's always an emphasis. You always try to get guys that play multiple sports. I think that's important because, they're developing different skill sets for each sport that they play. So that always lends them to probably being a better athlete. But, the more you can do in today's game, the more positions you can play, even in the lines. If you can be a center and a guard or a tackle, when people get injured, it allows you to do, continue to do what you need to do offensively and the same defensively. If a guy can, be an inside guy on this play and a defensive end on this play, it just gives you more flexibility in your calls. So I just think it's a very athletic group, and we've got, you put this group into the last couple classes that we've signed. I think we got a chance to, to continue to be successful like we have been.
With Jay McDonald, like it says, was a member of the junior Olympic track team, and he seems to be, a smaller guy, really speedy. Is that kind of what you're looking for more in your running backs? Maybe someone kind of like Brad who can play wide receiver if he maybe needs to? Is that kind of like an emphasis for you guys?
Well, speed is number one. you cannot coach speed. And if you look at it, we haven't been really fast, especially, the last 2 years at receiver. We didn't have anybody that could really threaten consistently, on down the field stuff. So getting some faster guys, was a priority, and I think that's where DJ can come in. And then Jay is, really good. He's like Brad. He's like Terrell. Has good ball skills, that you can utilize in the passing game, whether you're flexing them out as a receiver or they're in the backfield and they're involved in the passing game from that standpoint. So, there's no replacement for speed. So the faster you are, the better chance you have for having, more explosive plays.
Coach, you guys have done a good job of redshirting as many high school freshmen a lot of times as you can. But as you look through this list, how much immediate impact is on there that could come in and help this year?
You look at it, I think the hardest positions to play for high school kids coming in are in the lines, because you're 18 years old, you're going against 22-year-old men. And, so the size, the strength differential is a little bit more as compared to a wide receiver in a DB. They're more the 185s. Doesn't matter if they're a senior or a freshman. So I think it's a little bit easier for your skilled players to play. But if you look at it, Randall, the junior college guys, Randall and Jay, will have a chance. And then, with what we lost, in the offensive line, Big Rob, and then those freshmen are going to have a chance just because of we lost so many guys last year in the offensive line. But, I tell them all that they'll determine if they're redshirted or not me. So if they come in and they're the best players, then they'll play, and if not, then with this 4-game rule and you can still redshirt them, that'll always play a factor. But we'll give all these guys a chance, and, if they're ready to help and contribute and help us win, they'll play.
Second early signing period since it started last year. What are your thoughts on it the second time go around? You guys signed 14 this year. I think it was 11 last year. How much do you think it's kind of changed things for you guys? I
think December, I think February is going to be a thing of the past here pretty soon. I'm on the rules committee in NCAA, and they talk about that 93% of all Division I signees sign in December, or signed in December. So if you look at it, that's after 2 years. Now, next year, is it going to be 95%? Is it going to be 96%? It's going to be higher. It's not going to be lower. So I like it. I think it helps. I think it helps especially programs like us at our level that, you don't get cherry picked at the end, like we used to. So I like it. It eliminates, a lot of the, I hate to say, the babysitting, the guy's committed and just going to see him once a week, just hey, I'm still here type deal. Because we used the last 2 weeks really to junior recruit. We covered, went to every school in the state of Tennessee, went to, Atlanta, Birmingham, so we covered a lot of area the last 2 weeks just on juniors. So we're way ahead of when we go out in April, May, spring recruiting, we know where the players are, where not to go, where you don't have to go, so it gives you an opportunity to do that.
How much of an adjustment was it when it came through last year with the early signing period and now? You said you liked it, but how much of an adjustment was it for you guys and the staff?
Well, I think last year nobody knew what to expect at any, here, Alabama, I don't think anybody knew, but we were ready for it last year. I thought our staff and everybody did a great job last year, and, just it's important, that you try to get guys to camp so you can evaluate them. because it's, you know, it's sped up so much. You got to get them on your campus so much earlier. So have a great plan for that. Had a great plan, and so I think this year we had a better and more realistic idea of what to expect. And last year we've always done in the past. We've always had our football banquet in January, and try to bring all the recruits in there so they could be around all of our players' parents, and everything. And but last year, doing it in January, 3/4 of your class was signed. So this year we moved it up to December, and I thought that was a change that we made that was beneficial for us.
You talked a little bit about maybe looking into the transfer portal for that linebacker or someone like that. Now that you've kind of got a year used to that transfer portal, is that something that you guys are going to target more going forward?
I'm not used to that portal, and I don't know if anybody will ever get used to it. And, that's the thing you talked about, early signing day, 93% of high school Division I kids signed. So you've got 93% of high school kids. And then, again, on that rules, over 2,000 players put their name in that portal, okay? So that's a lot of players. That's a lot of high school players out there. So we looked at it. I looked at it. But there's so many unknowns about it right now because – you put your name in it, unless you're a grad transfer, you don't know if they're going to be eligible to play or not this year. So you got to make that decision. We're going to take this guy and sit him a year and get him for 1 year. So there's a lot that goes into it. And but it's I just saw the other day that people are putting their names in the portal now, the day before signing day, and it's hard on us. It's hard on coaches. To manage your roster, because you may think you got this group of guys coming back, and then 2 days before signing day, you have 2 players at this position that want to get in the portal. You can't replace them, so it's tough. That's why I said I haven't figured it out, but we're aware of it and cognizant of it, but it's here.
Similar question, but about the 4-game redshirt rule. Now you've had a year to go through it, and there were some unintended consequences, around the country. But do you think it'll be tweaked, or how do you feel about it?
No, Chip, I think it's here to stay. I loved it. I thought it was great. I think when we put it in, when we put that rule in, we thought it was going to for freshmen, but then, guys that had played as a freshman, as a sophomore, whatever, and did not get redshirted, and there's examples all over the place that, all right, I'm gonna play these 4 games, and then I'm not playing anymore. I'm quit, like some of them did. Some quit. I don't like that part of it. But I think it's a great rule for freshmen. I think it's a fantastic rule. It's good for us as coaches because you get down to the end of the year and you run out of bodies a lot of times, and it gave us an opportunity to play some kids that not only will help them, get some experience playing, but gave us a body that we could play because when you get to the end of the year, you run out.
I think I remember you mentioning at the Georgia game that their backups were these 6'2" guys with a lot of length.
Georgia's?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't 6'2".
But you look at the Jalen Jacksons, the Mark LaFrance, and Darius McClendon, those guys who are 6'2", 170, seem to have a lot of length. Is that kind of what you guys wanted to go out?
Yeah, I mean,
corner?
that's what you want. You want, you look at the NFL, it's getting longer at corner. Look at Charvarius, Ward. That's what you're looking to get because receivers, are getting bigger. So, yeah, but it's no different, Luis, no different in DB and, defensive line. The bigger you are, the better opportunities you have for success as long as you can, run. As long as you want size and speed, as a physical characteristic that you recruit.
Coach, obviously, with the signing of DJ Chisholm, that's 5'7". Usually, maybe some teams would say, "Oh, he's 5'7". That's not really what I'm looking for, like a taller wide receiver." But you guys have had a lot of success with these smaller wide receivers. Put him out there, like guys like Ty Lee last year. Is that maybe something you look at, saying this is the kind of guy that I want to play a position, or is it just speed?
Well, he's 10-4 is hard to tackle. 10-4 is hard. I mean, that dude can go now. And you saw last year Zach Dobson. He's little, but they had a hard time tackling him because he's fast. And you can't have 5 or 6, 7 of them out there. You can't have too many of them, but you can have a couple. And because that speed, 10-4 makes up for. If he was 5'10", if he was 3 inches taller, he's tall enough. But if he's 10-4, that makes up for that. Good deal. Appreciate you guys. We start spring ball March 12th. So we're in workouts right now, winter workouts, and guys are doing great. And I really appreciate you guys coming out here on a rainy day. Thank you.